Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the greatest show on earth, Public Works and Infrastructure Committee. I'm Commissioner Robert Patrick, serving as the current chair. I am joined by my colleagues, Commissioner Shakira Johnson, as well as Commissioner Nicole Masai. Before we get into our full agenda, let's go ahead and take care of the minutes. This is agenda item 2025-1285 from August 28. If anyone is comfortable and ready to make a motion, I'll open the floor up.
A motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we've got a proper motion and proper second. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
All right, perfect. All right, so we're going to get started. We have a agenda item 2025-1342. This is under the Chief Executive's Office. This is for all commission districts. Appointment of Ms. Sarah Garcia. Close enough?
Close enough.
Close enough.
Galitza,
pardon me. To post 5 of the Metropolitan Atlanta Rapid Transit Authority, also known as MARTA, Board of Directors. So first and foremost, thank you. We were supposed to get started at 3:30, but sometimes important things happen in other committees, and PWI accommodates as need be.
No worries.
Before we get started, would you like to make any brief introduction or comments?
Sure, I would more than happy to. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sarah Galitza. Last name rhymes with pizza. I've been married into the name 26 years, and so I answer to any form of it. I don't get offended. I have been living in Atlanta off and on, frankly, my whole life. I was born in Chicago, but then moved to Atlanta when I was young, left once more, and have now been back here for 17 years. I have been at the Home Depot now for 17 years, and my current role is the Vice President of Transportation, and so in this position I've been in for about a little under 5 years, and I have responsibility for all of international and domestic transportation for Home Depot. It equates to a budget of about $3.8 billion. That includes international, domestic freight and duties, tariffs.
Wow.
And so I was approached about this opportunity and would just like to say that I'm really excited about it. I've been in supply chain related fields for pretty much all 30 years of my career after graduating from University of Georgia with something completely unrelated, but it was a BBA in economics, and I ended up in supply chain, and I've been doing this my whole career, and I would really love the opportunity to really help shape the future of public transportation on the board of the MARTA.
Absolutely, and go dogs.
Go dogs.
Go dogs. Anyway, getting back down to business. Just so you know, our colleague here is from Georgia Tech.
Yes, he did that on purpose.
I'm sorry.
Me
You
too.
did have a good win, though. You had a great win this week.
All right, well, we have, I believe, about 5 questions, and each one of us are going to ask you a question, so I'm going to go ahead and get started, and then we'll just go in order, so Commissioner Masai and then Commissioner Johnson. So the first question, please tell the committee about yourself and briefly describe, well, where you did that one. How about the next one? How do you see the role of MARTA board member, and what specific experience do you have in overseeing large-scale capital projects or working in multi-jurisdictional government bodies?
Yeah, so to me, I think the biggest opportunity with what I've seen with MARTA is really making sure they're prioritizing what they invest in, right? Obviously, there's a lot of things that are on the list. As being in the private sector, one of the things that I do every single day is make trade-offs. And whether it's investing in an initiative A versus B, there's a lot of trade-offs that we have to make. And it's about what's going to deliver the most value, what's going to meet the customer needs, and then also making sure we're taking into account all the other impacts to our associates at Home Depot. And so in terms of capital projects, as part of my history, I have worked building distribution centers before. And so I have worked in large capital investments, $40, $50, $60 million investments in building new distribution centers. And so I do have experience with that, as well as just the overall budgeting process and making sure that you have contingencies in place to address.
Perfect. All right. Thank you much. Commissioner Masai?
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. Thank you so much for being with us again, Ms. Galitza. How would you ensure that DeKalb County's interests, including infrastructure, maintenance, service expansion, and equitable access for all residents, are effectively represented and prioritized at the MARTA board level? That's been an ongoing challenge, and including project delivery. So how would you ensure that they're effectively represented and prioritized?
Yeah, so the first thing I would make sure I'm doing is connecting, obviously, with the county to make sure I understand their priorities, and specifically before I go and serve on a position, I would want to make sure I am accurately representing the county and the priorities that you have. And then if I do get approved and I'm on the board, my goal would be to make sure I'm reading through all of the information, making sure I'm advocating for the county on a regular basis, not only just looking at the overall picture, but making sure I'm also advocating very specifically for the county needs.
Thank you so much, Ms. Galisa. I go back to you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Johnson?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. The MARTA Board is responsible for significant financial oversight. Describe your experience with large-scale budgeting and how you would apply that experience to ensure MARTA's long-term financial stability and sustainability, particularly in managing public funds, grant allocations, and fare box revenues.
So I mentioned a little bit earlier, but I have, again, a very large budget right now, roughly $1 billion of transportation spend that I have to make decisions on every single day, along with a large team. In addition, I have managed multiple distribution center, as well as some software engine rollouts that do have very long timelines. There has to be a lot of project management involved, and I also have a lot of experience in kind of what has gone wrong and things to look out for as you're planning a project and making sure it's going forward. So that's how I would make sure, and my experience, I think, would add value.
Okay, all right. And then I'll follow up with the last question. In light of new technologies like autonomous vehicles and evolving public transit needs, where do you see MARTA's greatest opportunities and challenges over the next 5 to 10 years? How would you help guide the board in navigating these challenges?
Now, autonomous vehicles are a huge topic. I know that as Home Depot, we have looked into various aspects of that. There is a huge safety piece that we all have to be aware of with those. Emerging technology is something that we have to get our hands on. I've been doing a lot of work in AI lately, and I think that's something that I would love to see the broader MARTA team adapt. I do think that's going to be a challenge in the upcoming years. I also feel like the prioritization of initiatives, there's a lot of things that I know that the MARTA, that they are trying to get completed, but when they spread too thin, nothing's getting completed. And so it's really about prioritizing how do we make sure we're getting the most value out of the investments, and then putting our eggs in those baskets to make sure that those get accomplished. And that's what I hope to bring to the team.
Excellent. All right. I believe those are our questions for now, and I want to say thank you very much for coming down.
Yep.
I believe Mr. Marcus Allen will be in touch with you
Yes.
to let you know how things go through the rest of the meeting.
Great.
I want to say thank you for your time coming down here. Thank you for your courtesy of waiting a little bit longer, about 30 minutes
Absolutely.
longer. Enjoy the traffic heading home. I will do that too when I get on the road as
Yes,
well.
I am the complete opposite side of DeKalb County, right by Beaufort Highway, so it'll be a nice
I'll be-
drive home.
I'll be seeing you there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you a lot. Marcus, if you are comfortable, I know Sarah has given her interview. Would you mind running us just super quick through some of the MARTA board information you'd put together for us so the commissioners just have a framework of understanding?
Sure. Good afternoon, commissioners. So in front of you is your interview packet that you have been reviewing. The very last page listed the Board of Directors interview questions that you just went through. The second page, as we turn to MARTA board member requirements, is an excerpt from the amended MARTA Act regarding MARTA's board member requirements. So it reads, on or after January 1, 2017, the Board of Directors of the MARTA Authority shall be reconstituted and composed of 11 voting members and 2 non-voting members, so 13 total. So, what staff did was essentially just lay out how that looks from a dissemination standpoint. So 3 members shall be residents of the city of Atlanta to be nominated by the mayor and elected by the city council. In bold are pertaining to DeKalb County. So 4 members shall be residents of DeKalb County, with 3 of those 4 appointees to be appointed by the governing authority of DeKalb County. And at least 1 such appointee shall be a resident of that portion of DeKalb County lying south of the southernmost corporate boundaries of the city of Decatur, and at least one of such appointees shall be a resident of that portion of DeKalb lying north of the northernmost corporate boundaries of the city of Decatur. And the fourth appointee to be appointed by a majority vote of the caucus of mayors of the municipalities located wholly in DeKalb County. The rest of the document details the remaining members as they relate to Fulton County, as well as one member shall also be a resident of Fulton or DeKalb to be appointed by the governor. And, regarding the non-voting members, there are two of those. One, commissioner of the Department of Transportation, DOT, and one non-voting member shall be the executive director of the Georgia Regional Transportation Authority. So, at the current moment, Roderick Frierson, Rita Scott, Shayna Pollock are the DeKalb County represented members, and proposed for Ms. Galitza, she will be taking the position previously held by Mr. Jim Durrett.
Yes, thank you very much. Commissioners, we will circle back to this item before we adjourn for today. With that said, let's move on to new agenda items. Under Chief Executive Office, we have agenda item 2025-1356. This is for all commission districts. Purchase and renovation of American Fueling Systems compressed natural gas station for $2.6 million for use by Sanitation Division. And who do we have to speak on this item? Is it Jacob? Good afternoon and welcome.
All right, good afternoon, Chair Patrick and members of the committee. It's my first time at the committee, so pleased to be with all of you. So I'm here on behalf of the Department of Sanitation to talk about the acquisition of American Fueling Systems CNG station. Next slide, please. This property is located in Chamblee, Georgia, off of Buford Highway.
Jacob, if you can give me 1 second.
Yep.
Could we get these on the screens for the commissioners as well? Get the presentation, I should say. Thank you very much. Jacob, please go ahead.
Great. So this opportunity is for us to, our sanitation, to acquire a third CNG fuel service station. We currently own 2 fueling stations, one in South DeKalb, one in Central DeKalb, and this is our northern DeKalb location, which we're currently purchasing fuel from American Fuel Systems. All 3 of the stations are managed by Atlanta Gas Light, and Atlanta Gas Light is contracted with sanitation. So we have the opportunity to purchase this third fueling station to better serve the operations in North DeKalb, as well as save sanitation in the county $940,000.75 in fuel costs per year. And also provides for certainty of operations for sanitation. This is just a map of the location to the south near the Seminole Road landfill, as well as the Central DeKalb location and the American Fueling Systems station on the northern portion of the county along Buford Highway. This facility, AFS facility, was developed in 2011. It was, sanitation has been using it since 2015. There are 3 dispensers with 6 hoses used by the sanitation trucks, which all run on CNG gas. We use approximately 90% of the fuel that comes through the station. There is 1 dispenser and 2 hoses that is currently leased to U.S. Venture Gain. We'll be assuming that lease in this transaction. And again, it's managed by Atlanta Gas Light. As far as the specific location, the underlying landowner is PDK. So the county, the PDK Airport Enterprise Fund. There are 2 main parcels that are under a ground lease from PDK to Pope Retail, which is the entity in the middle. That lease expires in 12/31/31. Pope Retail then subdivided or subleased the Tract B parcel to AFS for the purposes of the station that was built in 2011. So DeKalb County will purchase the sublease position from AFS as well as the equipment on site and any revenue contracts. We will make the provision to ensure that at the expiration of the sublease as well as the underlying ground lease will go direct with, the county will go direct with PDK, and the sublease position will go away. So what are we getting? We're purchasing the equipment, structures, and the sublease hold interest in the land. The purchase price is $1.8 million. This has been fully negotiated. The earnest money is also negotiated, $100,000 initial deposit, which is refundable, followed by a second deposit of $50,000 at the end of the due diligence period. Both deposits will then become non-refundable at the end of the due diligence period. So far, we've conducted the due diligence as indicated there. Phase 1 environmental report. Cushman & Wakefield provided appraisal of the equipment and the structure. Atlanta Gas Light has inspected the equipment and provided feedback, and a number of different county departments, including myself and CFO and COO, have also underwritten this opportunity for the county. We also had other third parties, including AGL and Clean Energy Fuels and Gas South, conversations regarding this station. So the seller is American Fueling Systems. They are getting out of this business. They're predominantly a hotel and a hospitality investor, and they had a series of energy investments previously, but this is the last one in their portfolio. I mentioned 30 days due diligence. We mainly have survey title and finalize the sublease assignment approval documentation with Pope Retail, and then 15 days to close. So we're looking at an estimated closing date of mid-November of this year. Bob Atkins is going to talk a little bit about the funding, but I'll give a bit of a prelude to it, that the funding will be coming from a modification to the loan between the DeKalb General Fund and sanitation. And then I talked about the sublease assignment. We're hopeful the savings in the fuel costs will use to repay the debt service to the general fund. This is just a graphic of the transaction summary. So the current structure is on top. So Atlanta Gas Light is the pipeline owner. The marketer is Gas South, which is selling fuel to AFS, which is then adding a spread to it, or a cost to the fuel. And then DeKalb is purchasing it, with AGL being maintenance and on-call management. The bottom portion of the slide is the structure following post-closing, where, as you can see, AFS is now pulled out of the transaction, so any spread they were adding to the cost of the fuel is now gone, and the savings accrues to the county. This font is super tiny. I apologize for that. But on the top piece is just a backward look at 2024 fuel costs of a little over almost 1.1 million. And the middle box shows the revenue and expenses as a pro forma, if you will, post-closing. And then the bottom box is the capital cost of this transaction. So with the $1.8 million purchase price and $100,000 for closing costs, we're at 1.9 for acquisitions, and then estimated cost for facility improvements at $500,000, and then $200,000 for some upgrades to the equipment, for a total of $2.6 million, which, based on the savings of $940,075, is a 2.8-year payback period. So we're excited about this transaction. I'm going to yield to Bob to talk about the funding, but I'll stay nearby to answer any questions you might have.
All right, thank you.
Expecting that.
Bob, good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good to have you here.
Thank you.
What can you tell us?
Wasn't expecting to come up here, but I've amended the, if you remember, the former loan was $10 million. And it was at a 2.28. It was back a year or two when the rates were very low. So what I've done is they've paid the first year of it. So we now have a 9-year loan, and I've spread the 2.6 over the last 8 years. So that adds about, if you do the math, it adds about $300,000 in payments over the last 8 years.
And just for clarity, loan that you're talking about was a loan from the general fund to sanitation, I guess, around the 2021 area?
It was later than that, 2000.
Order of magnitude.
Yeah,
Something in that
23,
area.
24, yeah.
Okay. Okay. At this time, unless there's anything else to add, commissioners, any questions for our team? Commissioner Johnson.
Yes, I did have a question. With the total cost, you're showing an estimated $500,000 for facility improvement. Jacob, can you speak on that a little bit? What is going to be needed and what all does that entail?
Yes, ma'am. So the $500,000 includes costs for the flooring, the concrete asphalt at the station, which needs repair. There's also some stormwater drainage, which needs repair, and we'll also have to repair the floor and provide proper draining mechanism for stormwater.
And then can you also talk about the benefit of purchasing an existing facility versus us looking to build a new facility of our own?
Yeah, great question. So speed is the primary reason, but also just certainty to ensure operations. To build a new facility would require, of course, finding a location that is strategically located along a gas pipeline, and then getting the necessary permits, and then taking it through the pre-development and the construction period takes a lot of time. So this definitely gives the department some certainty to continue to get fuel.
And I would assume any new facility would also have to get community buy-in and support. So I think this helps with that as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I yield.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner Masai, any questions? Okay. All right, so Jacob, you would like a due pass on this item? Yep.
Yes.
All right, I'll open the floor for a motion.
I move to approve item 2025-1356.
Second.
All right, we've got a proper motion, proper second. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all right. Jacob, thanks so much.
Great, thank you all.
Thank you guys both. Moving on, we have agenda, and this is top of page 2, agenda item 2025-1122. This is for all commission districts. Renewal of contract number 1348743, printing services, annual contract, second renewal of 2 options to renew for use by Public Works Sanitation and Beautification. This contract consists of the provision of various graphic details, printed materials, and services for distribution of information to county citizens. This request seeks to exercise the second and final renewal option through September 30, 2026, awarded to Fuentes Enterprises Incorporated, doing business as IPCOM, in the amount of $35,000. Director Lemke.
Quite frankly, there's not a whole lot that I can add to the description that you just read off. We ask your approval. If there are any questions, I'll be more than happy to respond.
Any questions, commissioners? All right, open the floor for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Proper motion, proper second. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
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 All right. Hey, my favorite next one, Public Works and Roads and Drainage. Agenda item 2025-0783. This is for all commission districts. Sole source radio communications equipment for use by the Department of Public Works, Roads and Drainage consists of payment of the final lease installment for two-way radio equipment, models APX 1500 and APX 900, and related appurtenances currently used by the department crew for daily operations and emergency communications with 911. This request seeks approval of the final Year 5 installment and ratification purchase order number 5016433 for the 4th year lease payment awarded to Motorola Solutions Incorporated, amount not to exceed $317,981.12. Director Lemke, just for clarity, we're going for the 4th year payment or the 5th year payment? And how does the ratification fit in?
This would do the final 5-year payment.
Okay.
As well as making sure that we're caught up with the 4-year.
Understood. Okay. All right.
That's the ratification part.
That's the ratification part. Commissioners, any questions? Nope. Okay, seeing none, open the floor for a motion.
Motion to approve 0783.
Second.
Got a proper motion, proper second. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
All right, next moving on to Public Works Fleet Management and the Department of Watershed Management. Agenda item 2025-1144. This is for all commission districts. Low bid invitation number 2025-056-ITB Lubricants, annual contract with 2 options to renew for use by Public Works Fleet Management and the Department of Watershed Management. Consists of the purchase of lubricants such as motor oil, hydraulic fluids, and transmission fluids for various county vehicles and on-site equipment. This request seeks to reserve the right to transfer funds between contracts based on the needs of the county. Recommend award to the lowest responsive and responsible bidders, Dilmar Oil Company, the McPherson Companies and Lubrication Engineers Incorporated. Total amount not to exceed $950,000. Director Lemke.
Yes, again, as you just described, this is a low bid. This is a standard contract that we have used, or a standard process that we need to provide those lubricants. This one is not only for the vehicles, but as well for equipment at DWM, which sometimes takes some specialized oils and lubricants, which is why we go with this on a separate bid. We ask your approval.
Okay, thank you much. Commissioner Johnson.
I did have a quick question. I know this is a contract that we've had before, so are these new suppliers, or have we worked with these suppliers in the
I
past?
believe we have worked with these suppliers before.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Masai, any questions?
Questions?
Okay, I'll open up the floor for a motion.
Motion to approve agenda item ending in 1144.
Second.
All right, we've got proper motion, proper second. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you, Director Lemke, appreciate it. Director Wells, good to see you.
Thank you, sir.
So we're going to get started under watershed management. First item is agenda item 2025-812. This is for all commission districts. Rescission of cooperative agreement for vacuum truck services, Cobb County contract number 24-6825 for the use of by the Department of Watershed Management. Consists of the purchasing from the competitively let Cobb County contract for the removal and final disposal of materials such as sand, silt, and other sewage sludge utilizing vacuum truck services for treatment plants. This request seeks to rescind the award under agenda item 2025-0144 to All South Environmental Services, LLC. Director, if you can explain how we got to a rescission point and then what happens, how do we make sure that service still is performed?
Yes, sir. Reginald Wells, Watershed Management. Yes, sir. So ultimately, All South was acquired by another vendor.
Another vendor, okay.
That vendor chose not to honor the contracts, any other obligations outside of Cobb County. They didn't want to piggyback and honor the
Gotcha.
Agreement we had. So we ultimately have no recourse. That is their decision.
Yep.
What we will do going forward is ultimately procure our own services just to ensure the county's covered.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I think when we did that other contract, did we not have multiple vendors that were there as a backup, or was that a?
No.
We went with one?
It was only All South. All
Okay.
South, we've worked with them in the past, and they're, they were a fixture in this area, and we'll just have to figure out if the new vendor is an option for
Yeah.
us to go direct, or, we'll find. There are some others in the business, so
We'll adapt and grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Commissioners, Commissioner Johnson?
Good afternoon, Director Wells. So are we expecting to put this back out to bid so that we will have a supplier for these services?
Correct. So ultimately, what the services are basically what we utilize more so at our facilities, our treatment facilities, and remote stations, pump station, lift stations. We do have some capacity in-house. We also have some other contracting vehicles that have use of actors and
Gotcha.
different type of services that we need. So it'll provide opportunity for us to do some due diligence and ultimately decide the best way to approach it, whether it's amend something we already have or actually go with a whole new solicitation, or even if there's some equipment and staff that might, if it's more cost beneficial, an overall better solution, it may be something we incorporate in-house. It just we'll do that due diligence and come back appropriately.
Thank you. It's good to hear that we have a means of handling the services in-house without missing too much action. So that's good to know. Thank you. I yield.
Absolutely.
Commissioner Masai? Good, all right. Open the floor for a motion.
Motion to approve agenda item ending in 0812.
Second.
All right, again, we got a proper motion, proper second. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye, got that taken care of. Director Wells, I believe this one is a new one, agenda item 2025-1191, and I know it's not out of audit yet.
Correct. It's a new one, and it's, I'm assuming in Cal, we sent it to audit maybe?
Yes.
It's currently on.
It's
Yeah. Absolutely.
Commissioners, unless there's any reason to discuss this one, we'll just move on. Marcus, do we need to take a vote, or can we just move on?
It can be held in committee, sir.
So it's held in the committee. Okay, perfect. All right. Director Wells, if you don't mind, we'll move on to the next one. Under Watershed Management, agenda item 2025-0573. This is for all commission districts. Low bid invitation number 24-101685. Small diameter sewer cleaning, 3-year, multi-year contract for use by the Department of Watershed Management. Consists of cleaning sewer system to prevent spills. Recommend award to the lowest responsive and responsible bidders. Director Wells, how do you pronounce that company?
Yes, sir. And this did come out of audit. There was one item that they mentioned.
Thank you.
I think there was probably some confusion. I didn't agree with what was stated. Ultimately, it's stated due to how we allow contingency, it allowed possibly for a potential lower bidder to not be recognized as such, but ultimately, the contingency in and in itself wouldn't allow that, because we actually look at the totalization before contingency first, and second, that vendor that claim is made on actually omitted basically 10 items. So it wouldn't actually have led to what was assumed, if you will. But I just felt it was necessary for me to address that, being that it was stated in the audit. But other than that, I think there was one other thing. I elected to only ask you guys for 50% of the contract at this time, due to previous expenditure was not consistent with the current funding, and giving that it is a multi-year contract, and we could always come back to elect to add funds, as we can do on any unit pricing. I just wanted to ensure that we are not over allocating something that we don't necessarily need to. So,
okay. Looking at Director Lavoie Campbell's approval, just based on our review, we conclude the agenda of $21 million, $13,200 was valid.
mm-hmm.
And so my understanding is that is what you're asking for on this contract.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
we're able to move
Yeah.
forward with that. Commissioner Johnson?
I did have a question on this one. We had gotten a comment about the Renee Group, which is one of the contractors we're looking to award this to. So since we have gone through the full procurement process, it's safe to assume that they've been vetted and any legality or legal issues had been worked through prior to us taking any action on this contract?
Yes, ma'am. And, I'm aware of what was stated, and we never stopped doing business with RGI. The company changed hands, but, it is what it is. But yes, ma'am, it went through the process. It was vetted. It is what it is. Although I, wasn't here for 4 years, it's neither here nor there. it is what it is.
We definitely have to ask the question when something like that is brought forward. That's part
No,
of
absolutely.
our job to make sure that this stuff is getting looked at, so.
And if I may.
Yes, sir.
It's a little bit on recollection, but usually I'm pretty accurate. So there were some issues that were spoken of, I guess, at a last board meeting relative to RGI. What we did at the time, when it was brought to our attention, we had conversation with RGI, after which they removed the principal who was responsible, it seems, for those controversial issues and items. So the company moved forward, we moved forward with a contract with the firm, as Mr. Wells is indicating, but the principal who was involved was no longer with the firm.
Understood. Thank you. And thank you for clarification for everyone's purposes.
Absolutely.
It is good to ask
Thank you, Ross.
questions rather than just make the assumptions, so thank you for asking the question. Do you have any other questions as it relates to the contract or the scope?
Nope, I yield. Thank you.
You're good? You're good, okay. Just so that I said I can finish my portion here as well, Commissioner Masai says APTAPCA? Or something?
Atacapa.
Atacapa Services, LLC, International Design Services, Global Incorporated, the Renee Group Incorporated, total amount, again, not to exceed $21,013,200. We have Mr. Lavoie Campbell's confirmation that the numbers work, and so at this point, Commissioners, unless there's any other questions, I'll open up the floor for a motion.
Motion to approve agenda item ending in 0573.
Second.
We've got proper motion, proper second. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next item is on the last page, agenda item 2024-0525. This is for all commission districts, a resolution to establish the Environmental Justice and Sustainability Resident Advisory Group. Commissioner Terry is not here, so if it's all right, I guess we'll just hold this one in committee as well. We have another discussion item here that I want to get to, but before we do that, let's go back to the beginning and under Executive Office, agenda item 2025-1342. Again, this is for all commission districts. Appointment of Ms. Sarah Galitza to post 5 of the Metropolitan Atlanta Rapid Transit Authority Board. Board of Directors, Commissioners, I'll open the floor for a motion.
Motion to approve agenda item ending in 1342.
Second.
All right, again, proper motion, proper second. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, so circling back to the last page, we have a discussion item, DeKalb County Operational and Performance Assessment Discussion. Full disclosure, I plagiarized this from Commissioner Terry, and I told him then I was going to do it, and I did it.
You did.
In government, unfortunately, there's no copyright on a good idea. But I will give him full credit for this. I literally took his framework and forwarded it to Mr. Marcus Allen and said, could you please tweak this up for PWI? And he did. Marcus? And
Good afternoon,
and/or Zach?
again, Commissioners. So COO Williams will dovetail this discussion. But essentially, to introduce, as you all are aware, Malden and Jenkins, the county's partner in performing an assessment for the county's operations, conducted a countywide assessment for all departments. There were, I believe, 18 departments that were identified within that assessment for different opportunities. And one of the things that Commissioner Terry, as well as all of the Board of Commissioners, took a leadership role in partnering with the administration on is working to categorize each of the departmental assessments within the specific committee of jurisdiction. So within the context of the FAB committee, we started that process last week, and of course, Commissioner Patrick, as you stated, within PWI, you would like to follow a similar vein for departments that fall under the PWI committee that were listed within the assessment. So in that same breath, the two departments, Public Works, Roads and Drainage Division, as well as the Sanitation Division, were identified within that assessment. And the goal for the PWI committee, or one of your goals as you all, go throughout this iterative process, is one, to identify what those observations and recommendations were within the report. Have that discussed in committee in conjunction with the administration. Identify any cross-departmental themes over these next few committee meetings. If it is your will to draft committee-level preliminary recommendations that you all would like to add into the recommendations that have already been provided by Malden and Jenkins. So if you see anything, on the tertiary front that you want to add into that, now would be a great time to do that. And CO Williams stated that, any and all feedback is welcome. And, essentially what we're looking for is alignment, right? So, as the administration has its recommendations, each department goes throughout its plan over the next several months into 2026. We want to make sure that, all of the departments, the administration, the Board of Commissioners are all aligned on what the plan of action is moving forward as a result of those observations and recommendations. So staff just laid that out in this one pager for you all, and CO Williams can discuss further some of the, primary aspects of what that will look like from a day-to-day standpoint and our overall timeline.
Okay, thank you. Zach?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. And so what we're hoping to do is come back in the next meeting or the meeting after and just lay out our plan of how we're going to unveil our responses. So as I indicated earlier, we've had conversation with Ms. Cisse, and she is in large part charged with shepherding the effort. So what we're looking to do is, have one strategy that all of the departments embrace and that we present to the committees on a quarterly basis in terms of, the first discussion will be our assessment of the findings and a roadmap, and then we'll report back as we achieve findings. But over the course of 2026, we anticipate knocking out, each of the findings that have been identified, unless there is some, exigent circumstance or significant budgetary reason that prevents us. And if that's the case, you'll know about it because we'll be talking about it here. Yeah.
Commissioners, questions, comments, concerns?
No, I just appreciate, again, I think we all share that it was great, Commissioner Turi, that had put the initial framework together. And if you give credit to someone who's not plagiarizing, it's borrowing. So,
It's okay. Thank you very much.
We're all going to, borrow this and utilize it in our respective committees so that we have a uniformity in terms of trying to incorporate with what M&J has, so feverishly put together, that I think is really going to be beneficial and helpful for the work that we do. So with that, I yield back to you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Commissioner Johnson, any comments?
No additional comments. Just looking forward to working through the process.
Absolutely agreed. Absolutely agreed. Okay. Well, commissioners, we've got 13 minutes to talk about the Georgia game.
You know what, Commissioner Terry?
Oh, and I think Georgia Tech won this weekend also.
We did a good job. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Proper motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for sticking with us for the whole day. We sure appreciate you a lot. Thank you. Bye.